Hi and welcome to another Revit tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to cover how we bring survey plans into Revit and create topography from those plans so that we can start modeling. There's normally various ways in which we receive survey plans. The one good way is 3D CAD file, and then also sometimes we don't even get CAD files, we get PDFs. So I'll first show you how we use a 3D CAD file. What I do is I open up my Revit on my ground floor, and I go and I insert my file. So I normally link my CAD file. That's the one there. I don't tick anything except I make it meters, because I know most CAD files are in meters, or most server files are in meters. I'm gonna place it on ground floor, and I'm gonna go origin to origin, and I go open. Now as soon as I go zoom extents, I can't really see it. I also make sure that my orientation here in my browser is sitting at true north. So I go to 3D to make sure that it has actually landed. But because I can't see it in my ground floor, I know that it's a lot higher than my ground floor. So I'll show you what I mean. If I go to one of the elevations, I can see that it's sitting way out there. So you can see my ground floor is at 0. But when I look at the CAD file, the original CAD file, I can see that the RL is about 54. If I pick one of these contours and I look at it in properties, I can see there's an elevation there of 55.2. So it's about between 54 and 56, 58 meters above my datum that I've got in Revit. So I go back to Revit. I don't really need these for now, so I'm just going to delete them. They're just going to hinder me, even though that's part of my template. And because the CAD file is too far from my level, so in 3D I can adjust that. And if I can't see my level, when I zoom extends here, I can go to VV, or visual graphics, on my keyboard, go to annotation category, and then go down to level, L for level, and I turn my levels on, and I go zoom extends, and now all of a sudden I can see my level. So what I really want to do is highlight it, and if I go zoom to the top, I can see that my level is really far from my CAD file. Just use the grips and pull it like such. Cool. So that also sort of looks good. I've covered the whole site. And if I go back to my ground floor now and go zoom extents, I can't see it now, because if I look at my view range for my template is set very low, right? So I'm going to change this view range just in order to see the CAD file. So I go and I change my top to unlimited, my bottom to unlimited, and my view tab to unlimited. And because my site is at least about 57, 58 meters above my datum, I can change that. I normally just go 100,000 just to be safe. Go OK, zoom extents, and now I can see it. But my elevation marks is too far from there, and also my site is rotated slightly. So what I do is delete those elevation marks. Right, go zoom extends. I can put new elevation marks if needed, which I'm going to need anyway. So one of the things I do then is go to 3D, leave my level in there. So now I can go and create that topography, or the topo solid. And you can only create a topo solid when you on the plane that you want to work with. So I go back to my ground floor, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Is if I go to massing and site, topo solid, create from import, it tells me I can only use this operation if I work on the work plane that I want to see it on. So I close that. I go back to my work plane, which is my ground floor. I go topo solid, create from import, create from a CAD import, select it. So it brings up all the layers in that CAD file. So you don't need to, we don't want all the layers, right? I just want the contours, which will be a lot of help. And I know if I go to my CAD file, I've got some triangulation here. This triangulation here is sitting on layer 0. My contours is survey contours main and survey contours major and main. So go back to Revit. I go check none. So I've got none of the layers that I want. I know I want layer 0. And I also know I want all the survey layers. So I want contours, lines, major, lines, minor, and I go OK. All right. So if I go now to 3D, I can see that it's created the topography for me. And I can check the height of that topography by going to Manage, Coordinates, specify coordinates at that point. And I can see it's 54,909. And if I go back to my CAD file, I can double check. There's the 54,908,909. So it's 0.01. It's 1 millimeter higher in Revit. Right. So I've got my topography in there. What I can do now is I can change that topography. I can edit it, and I can edit the structure. I like it to look maybe get it to look brown. So I'll go to my site. I'll give it earth. If you wanted to make it green, you could create one coal grass and pick grass as one of your materials. I'll leave it for earth for now and go OK and OK and OK. And you can see it's turned brown. Right. So what I can do here is I can turn off my CAD file by using visual graphics, import to categories, turn the, let me just expand this, leave my families on, but turn the CAD file off and go OK. And that's what my topography looks like. Right. So in plan, go back to plan. I can't see it yet. So it might be, sorry, have I done that? Yeah, that's there. It might be turned off in the categories here. So there's a category for topo solids and topography, right? So you can see the topography and the topo solids is turned off. Turn that back on. Oh, it is there. Sorry, it is. I just can't see it. I think I need to go to fine. And if I go shaded, I should be able to see it. And the same thing, I can go VV. So one of the things I want to do on plan as well is do my side boundary, but I also want to create a level at the finished floor level that I want. So first thing I do is I can do it either with a section or an elevation. I'll do it for a section now before I do something else. So I'll just create a section now and go to that section, go to view. So if you just tick uncrop, you'll see that my datum is down there sitting at 0. And I'm going to create another level up here. So I go architecture, level, pull that level through, even though it says 4 for now. And I reckon about 58 meters is looks about a nice. I'll have a bit of cut and fill happening there eventually, depending on my design. So what I do is I go down to change. I want to change this ground level, the name of this to datum. Say yes, because I want to change all the views, right? The names of all the views. And then this one there, I can change that to ground. Yes. Cool. So that looks good. Go back to 3D. That all looks good. So the other thing I need to do, just get rid of a start view, is in my datum view. Well, I can now go to my ground plan. It'll show it that way. So to get my model in the world coordinates, normally the survey points are in world coordinates. I know this one is not really good, but let's have a look. So if I go to this corner here and I go ID enter and I pick it, it gives me those points there, right, which is all in meters. So when I go back to Revit and I do the same thing in that area there under coordinates, I go manage coordinates, specify coordinates at this point. Oh, it looks like it's actually done it. Let's just see. Yeah, 1039. So it's actually coming at the right place, which is good. So I can leave it. But what I do just to make sure that I can coordinate this with any other disciplines eventually, I go to coordinate and I acquire the coordinates of this and go close and just double check it again. Coordinates, specify coordinates. Okay. Yeah. So what that does is it forces the world to move around to that point, and I know my project is in the right point. Now I normally want my ground floor to sit horizontal with the page, right? And what I can do is I go back down to datum. I'm going to turn off the topography by going VV topography and topo solid off. I just want that. And what I normally use is a scope box to rotate it. I don't rotate it, and in years. I don't rotate it and create a project north and all that. So the way I do a scope box is I go scope box, pick the scope box, right? And I'm going to align the scope box to one of these lines here. So when the scope box is picked, I go RO for rotate. I place it on this line and I want to rotate it from there to there. So you can see my scope box has rotated, right? I just pull it in nice and tight or as big as I want it, and I give it a name. I'll just call it plan, right? For now, so give the scope box a plan. So when I go to my ground floor now, to make this rotate without much effort is I go down in my properties browser to scope box and I look for plan, zoom extents, and you can see that that's what it's done there now. So I could hide the crop, I could hide the crop region. So I've now got this here the way I really want to do it. I can either I'll delete that. I don't need that section anymore. Now the one thing I do need is my property lines as well, right? So to get my property line there, I can't really see it because it's all hidden. I know that there's layers in here, right? So I control this CAD file. Sorry, one thing to do just to be safe is pick everything and pin it, just so nothing moves around by mistake. So to only see the property line on there, I go VV. I can turn my topo solid off for now on my topography. Under imported categories, I can expand the CAD file, select everything in that CAD file. So these are all the layers, right? And I turn them off. And then I go look for the fence. Right. I know that it's a layer called fence. And how I found that out is in CAD. I went to CAD, picked that line, and it told me it was 903 fence. Back in Revit, I turn on 903 fence, I go okay, and that's all I got. So now I can go do my property lines, and it's as easy as massing and site again, property line, create by sketch, and just pick it. Now I know I got some gaps in there, so I'll just have to fill that. Not a very straight property line, but that's what it is. And all I do is I'll trim these two to close the loop and go finish. So I've got my property line in there. I've now got my topo surface, and I'm ready to rock and roll, ready to model.